There is a big confusion in the franchise world. And while I kind of had an idea of that confusion, it didn't really become totally clear for me until I took what I thought was supposed to be a sabbatical from my 25 plus year career in the franchise world. I was taking a sabbatical to spend some time with my family so that I could, take care of some personal business, and then I was going to go back into the corporate world and continue my career. But then when what happened was when the word got out that I was no longer affiliated with any particular brand, I started to get phone calls from franchisees and even from brands that I used to work for, asking me for help, for guidance, for coaching. And it was something that I had never done. I had either my entire career, I have either worked directly for the corporation on their behalf, either running regions and their brands, or working on the corporate office on a high level of executive level, in charge of projects, operations manuals, etc. But in this particular time, I started to have phone calls when I was on sabbatical from, like I said, franchisees and franchisors. And really, the franchisees that were reaching out to me, they were asking me for help and guidance on certain parts of their business. And here's where I realized how big and wide this confusion in the franchise world was. And the confusion is that franchisees believe that when they acquire the rights to duplicate a brand, a franchise, that they will be receiving everything they need to be successful. And the reality is that that is not the case. And this confusion causes unfulfilled expectations, it causes frustration, tremendous struggle, hard work, and sometimes, sadly, even failure. I'm sure you heard that there are franchise units like McDonald's and Domino's and Dairy Queens and Subways that do close. Now, clearly, you would argue that those brands are proven brands that they should always be successful, but yet they still close. And the reason why sometimes these franchise units close, these franchisees close and fail at being a franchisee is because of this confusion that is caused when people acquire a brand or when people think of a franchise. And so as I realized this, in this sabbatical that turned into being answering questions and being helpful and started coaching and becoming a consultant, etc., that step by step end up becoming this thing called American Franchise Academy. I realized how the importance of being able to make clarification on this confusion and to provide the franchisees the tools that they need so that they can be successful with these amazing brands that they're investing hard-earned money on. And so one of my first clients, his name is Philip, and I was helping him and guiding him in creating processes and systems and compensating for the things that franchisees don't receive during when they acquire a brand. And at some point in time, he asked me, Aisha, is there any way that you can put all of these things in writing? Because I just can't ask you everything that I need to know. And why don't you write a book? And I had thought about writing a book before that, but really, his request really inspired me to start putting things down in writing of all the things that I have learned through my career, not only working on behalf of the franchisor, but actually running operations, running units, running brands. And I actually even run for a few years a franchise in a whole country, two franchises actually. And so what I did is I put all of this information in this book called The Franchise Fix. And in this book, the goal of this book is to provide franchisees the clarity of what are the steps that they need to take so that they can achieve the business and financial goals that they set out to achieve when they invested in a franchise. They just didn't know what was the information that they were missing to be able to achieve those goals. because having a brand or investing in a franchise brand is half of the answer. The other half is being able to have the business management skills, knowledge, acumen to be able to make the most profit out of the brand that they invested in. And so this is the big confusion that exists in the franchise world. And so in this book, The Franchise Fix, it has 12 chapters. And the first chapter is all about what is a franchise and what is not a franchise, because I thought that it was as important to clarify, what is a franchise just as much as what is not a franchise. And that is chapter 1. And so that is the first chapter because, like I said, it's important that we clarify this. And so let me give you a little summary of what that is, right? So when you buy a franchise, you are acquiring the rights to duplicate a brand. And so what the franchisor provides are the brand itself and all the tools and resources to reproduce the brand. So what does that mean? What is a brand, right? So a brand, first of all, is the product. What is the product that you are going to provide or sell to a customer for which they're going to give you money? Now, for some people, it's pizzas. For some people, it's hamburgers. For some people, it's massages. For some people, it's car washes. For some people, it's haircuts, right? So different products. So that is a product. It has to be a proven product that people actually want to buy and give you money for. Also, something else that the franchisor provides is service processes. That means is how are you going to be delivering this product to the customer? So in the case of Dairy Queen, it would be through a drive-through and a lobby, and you have tables and you have counters, and they welcome you, they charge you, they bring you food to your table, they have numbers. Or the drive-through, they have a lane, they have a menu board, they have speakers, right? The service process of how to deliver the product that the customer wants to buy. The other thing that you get from this franchisor is the image, a proven image, an image that people recognize, right? And that is anything and everything that is all the sensory information from the brand, whether it's the logo, the colors, the lobby, the smells if it's food, the visuals of the food, or whatever product you are selling, right? Anything and everything that has to come from the sensory. You can see it, you can hear it, you can smell it, you can touch it. All of that part, that visual, sensory part of the brand is something that they have developed and created. And not only is that known throughout the market, right? If you have been in the market for a while, but it is a consistent, throughout the units. And with all of that, they also provide or should provide the tools and resources for you to not only be able to know how to duplicate the brand exactly as they have proven it to be successful, but also materials and tools to train your people to be able to continue the training to duplicate that brand so that you can have that amazing brand, product, service, image to sell to your customers, right? They basically solve the problem of how do you can get sales, right? Revenue. Now, something else that the franchisor provides, depending on the size, is the regional or national marketing, right? So if they are a regional brand, they will create regional marketing initiatives and campaigns to promote. And at that point, they're mostly promoting brand awareness. Now, as they grow and they become what I call a big boy brand and they become national, etc. Now, not only do they have this regional national marketing seriously focused on continue to build brand awareness, but also they have offers, new innovations to bring sales, in general terms. However, they're not going to come to your neighborhood and knock on your neighbor's doors asking them to come and buy burgers, car washes, or haircuts from you. That is your responsibility as a franchisee. And here's where some of the confusion, begins. And so this is what you should expect from the franchisor. And all this is covered, by the way, in chapter 1 of the book. Then what you don't get from the franchisor, which is just as important, if not more important, is you do not get a business degree in franchise management. That means that all of the parts of how to maximize the profitability out of the revenue that comes from this brand that you selling to customers, that profitability is up to you. They assume that you're coming with the knowledge, experience, and business acumen to understand how to manage your business so that you can maximize the profits, so you can then have the money that you want and deserve out of the business that you invested in. You don't get that from the franchisor. And the reason is, there's two reasons why you don't get that from the franchisor. Number one, because if they're going to give you a business degree on business and franchise management, they have to charge you a whole lot money, a lot more money, because they need resources and people and, et cetera, to be able to give you what a university gives you in 4 years. Number two, in many cases, if the franchisor gets into telling you what to do with your employees or telling you what to do with your finances, now there's a certain thing called liability that they get into. And so if they're guiding you as to how to hire people, how to pay them, how to reprimand them, now they are equally, depending on the law, right, liable, or they could be, for what that employee does, right? And so that is why franchisors don't and cannot get into the business management side of your business. They are responsible to provide you with a proven brand, product, service, image, regional, national marketing, assuming that you're paying a marketing fee. But all the other management side is your responsibility. And so here's what the rest of the book of the franchise fix comes in. So the goal of this book is not to fix the franchise itself, which would be the brand, because we're assuming that you invested in the right brand. But a lot of the times, what's broken in a franchise is how you manage the franchise, right? Which is everything else that comes after the brand. And so that is what the book covers, and is the reason why in today, Multi-Unit Mastery Monday, I wanted to share a little bit about the content of this book, so that if, as I go through the chapters and the content of the chapters, you can see that this is something of value for you, then I would like to invite you to purchase a copy of this book. You can either purchase it from the Academy at thefranchisefix.com. If you buy it from us, not only will you get it at a discounted rate, but I will send you an autograph copy. Or you can actually go to Amazon and get your own copy. If we buy it from us, it will be a couple of weeks. If you buy it from Amazon, it will be a couple of days. And if you buy a Kindle from Amazon, you can get it immediately. But anyways, so let me just keep going on the book, right? So the book has, like I mentioned, 12 chapters. The first chapter is about what is a franchise and what is not a franchise. So if you're not a franchisee yet and you want to be clear on what it is that you're going to be acquiring when you become a franchisee, this is the book for you. The investment on this book, which is $14.95 you buy it from us, $17.95 you buy it from Amazon, will come back to you thousands of times, because it would allow you to make the right decisions. Okay? All right, so let me go to what is in chapter 2 of the book. So chapter 2 of the book is called Lead the Way. And I started with leading the way right after you are clear what you're supposed to get and not get. Because if you are not the leader that people are looking for, everything else about your business will be tremendously challenging. No matter, I shouldn't say no matter, but I would say that 99% of any franchise you're going to buy or invest in, you're going to be dealing with people. You're going to ideally, I assume, hire people to run your operations and do the business. And if you are not the leader that people are looking for, the leader that people need, you are going to be in for a big surprise. And the ability for you to not only duplicate the brand properly, but make profit out of it would be very challenging. And so that is what the first chapter is about. It is all about what is to be the right leader for the people. What are the skills and the actions that you need to have to be able to be successful? And many people have told me that this has been eye opener for many of them. And if at the end of that chapter you feel that you have work to do, don't even go to the next ones, because if you are able to master that chapter of how to be a great leader and the right leader for the people, especially now with the new generation, then if you are able to manage that, everything else with time will come. Okay. So then that brings me to chapter number 2, and that is having the right people on the boat. And basically that chapter focuses on how to hire the right people for your organization. What are the steps for you to bring in the right people in your organization? Because you need to be able to have the appropriate systems and processes and procedures to hire the right people so that you can minimize the turnover. Because every time you hire people, you're investing a lot of money in finding them, interviewing them, onboard them, train them, and then finally be your employees. And if you don't do all those things well, the likelihood of them staying is going to be very challenging. So first of all, you got to do those first 6 steps that you're going to find in the book, and how to do them and how to do them right. And then the next chapter, which is chapter number 4, it says, take care of your people. In that chapter is all the things that you as a business owner, business leader need to know to make sure that the people stay with you the longest, right? For the long time. Because if you take care of them, they're most likely to stay with you. And right now, we're having a huge staffing crisis in the country. And one of the things that I tell our clients is that while, yes, we need to focus on hiring people and following the 6 steps and doing them right, the importance of being able to keep the ones that you do have is in a whole new level. Because before we were able to lose people and hire 2 or 3, and then we lose and you hire 2 or 3, but now hiring has become extremely challenging. And so we need to spend much more time focusing on keeping the ones that we have, those amazing team members that they know you, they know your operations. And here in this chapter, it tells you all of the things that you need to do as a leader to take care of your people so that they want to stay with you. And then the next chapter, which is chapter 5, is provide the right tools. That's the name of the chapter. What are the tools that you need to provide as a business owner, as a leader, so that they can feel that they can do the job the right way? And so that chapter is dedicated to that. It talks some about equipment and small wares and maintenance and all of the things that a lot of people take for granted. However, I can tell you that when I was a director of operations for a huge casual dining restaurant, one of the things that big chain, one of the things that happened to me in one of my many visits to the units under my region was that one assistant manager came to me and he said, "Hey, Aisha, I wanted to thank you." And I said, "Thank you for what?" And he said, "I want to thank you for repairing, this particular equipment that was broken." And I said, "Well, of course, we need to always have properly working equipment." And he said, "That's not true, because I come from another restaurant where the owner would just not maintain the equipment. And a lot of our equipment was not working properly, was broken. And for that reason, I left." And so I just wanted to say thank you, that I really appreciate the fact that your equipment is working right. So you would not think that fixing equipment and having it at the proper maintenance will have people want to work and stay with you. These are the little things that this book is full of, that gives you a lot of tips and best practices and information on what are the things that we may not truly consider, but that are very important for you to be able to be successful in your business. And all of these things are things that the franchisor is not or cannot share with you. All right, so that brings me to chapter 6, because I'm going to go through this quickly. I don't want to bore you. I hope I don't bore you. Have any questions or comments? I would love to be able to hear and see, make some comments in here. Any questions about it, I would love to answer. Now that we've finished this particular area of people, now we're going to a different area, and chapter 6 is called Know Your Numbers. In this particular chapter, I get into the financials of your business. One of the things that I have been very surprised is that a lot of franchisees that are already franchisees are not 100% clear of how the financials of their business works. And as a business owner that is handling, I don't know, 500,000, a million, 1.2, $2 million businesses, and you are not 100% clear on how to read or understand the profit and loss statement, how to calculate the break-even of your business, how to understand what makes the profit, what are the things that you need to do to be able to improve your profitability, and for you to be able to make the right decisions for your business, you need to understand the numbers. And so that is why it's so important that you do that. And so in this chapter, I address all of that. I talk about profit and loss statements. I mentioned a little bit about other statements, but that is the most critical one. The differences between variable costs and fixed costs. So if you are someone that financials, I know not everybody likes numbers. I mean, I personally love numbers. Don't ask me about history because I'm terrible at that. But if you're somebody that does not like numbers, trust me, the chapter 6 in this book will be very helpful. At least it will be the first step, right, in the direction for you to understand your business. Because sometimes, a lot of the times, the stress and the anxiety and the lack of confidence only comes from the lack of knowledge. You're not dumb, you're not incapable, you're not stuck, you just don't know. And there's so many franchisees just don't know what you don't know. I was talking to another client a couple of days ago, as a matter of fact, trying to make a decision about his business. And I said, look, the reason you don't feel confident is because you're not clear on the information. That's it. And so your job is to get clear on the information, get clear on the knowledge, find the resources that can give you this information so that once you feel that confidence, you can make the right decisions. And so he said, you're right. And that's just the way it is. So it talks about what EBITDA is, and shows you the examples of a profit and loss statement, and even how to calculate the break even, the importance of numbers, how you need to have a culture of metrics and business trinity. All of that is in chapter 6 of this book. I'm telling you, I put so much time and love into writing this book, and literally when you go to the dedication of the book at the very beginning, you're gonna see that I dedicated this book, to my first franchisee that reached out to me, my first consulting client, I guess, that reached out to me asking me for guidance. And so that's chapter number 6. And then on chapter number 7 comes a chapter about mastering your sales. Yes, when you buy a brand, when you buy a franchise, you will get marketing support. But remember, I mentioned that you're going to get national and regional marketing support based on the size of your brand. They're not going to come knocking on your neighbors' doors, telling them to come and buy your burgers or buy your massages or buy your car washes. They're not going to do that. That is your job as the franchisee. And so this whole chapter is all about you owning your sales. When you buy a brand, automatically you're going to get X amount of sales from brand recognition. People know who you are. They trust it, right? But beyond that, how much more sales you get, it will be completely up to you. So if you don't have a local store marketing plan, if you don't own your sales, you are not going to have sales growth, because whatever sales this brand brings you they already brought them to you. Now, whether you keep those sales or not will be based on your operations and their experience. But if you truly want sales growth year over year, you must have a local store marketing plan. And so that's what chapter number 7 is about in the Franchise Fix book, right? It tells you all about the components of sales and how you need to understand the difference between one and the other, all of the channels where your sales can come in, and what to do about increasing them, and then how to do a local store marketing plan that actually increases sales year over year, right? Actually, no, that's later on. This is more about understanding where your revenue is coming from so that you can actually make the right decisions for your business. And then that brings me to chapter 8. Now, look at that. All of that information in this book, 220 pages. I'm telling you, I put all my brain, all my experience, and put it all in here. Now, yeah, and so that's what this book is about. So chapter 8 is called Master Your Food Cost. Now, I know that a lot of you that are listening are probably not food service. Lots of my clients are not food service. And I wrote this book a long time ago. And I focus, while it is called Master Your Food Cost, you can just X the word food and you put in there product cost. Because just about any brand has some sort of product cost, right? Whether it's hamburgers or shampoo or radios or whatever it is that you use to be able to provide either the product, or even if you have a service business, you still have product that you use. So if you're a car wash, you still have soap and waxes and cloths or whatever product that you use. So basically that chapter, the Master Your Food Cost, is basically master your product cost and how to go through and I think it's 8 product cost controls. Let me see. It is 6, 7, let me see, 10. 10 product 10 cost control points. So if you need to be addressing each and every one of these 10 product cost control points for you to make sure that there is minimum waste, minimum theft, and minimum cost of your product. And that's what chapter 8 is about. And then that brings me to chapter 9, which is master your labor cost. Now, if you are a retail business, whether you're food or any other kind, product costs or food costs is going to be the biggest expense in your business. And this chapter 8 is dedicated to tell you what are the things that you need to do to have the least amount of waste and therefore cost on that expense. Now, you will think that if your product cost is around 30%, that means that for every dollar that comes in your business, 30 cents goes just to pay for the product. You want to master your product cost. And then the next expense, if you are a retail business, is your labor costs. So the next chapter, which is chapter 9, is all dedicated about on your labor costs. So if you're a retail business, the second largest expense is labor costs. That is what the next chapter is all about. How to manage your labor so that you can minimize the waste and minimize the cost so that you can make the most profit. You see how all these things are business management principles? It has nothing to do with the brand, not with the product, not with the service, not with the image. It has all to do with how to make money. Right now, if you're a service-based business like a massage place or a car wash place, right, where you're not actually selling a thing but a service, then labor cost is your biggest expense. And if you don't know how to maximize that, then you're leaving a lot of money on the table. All right, so that brings me then to chapter number 10. I'm almost done. Remember, it's only 12 chapters. Chapter 10 is called Follow the Money. If you have at any point in time handling cash, that means that you need to know and have a process and procedures to make sure that the money that comes into your business as sales actually makes it to the bank. And for you to make sure of that, you got to follow the money. So this whole chapter is all about how to make sure that you eliminate the possibility of theft and that you make sure that there is no money lost, anywhere in your business. So that is a very important chapter, and it's chapter 10. And then that brings me to chapter 11, which is called Spread the Word. And that is all about the local store marketing plan that I was mentioning earlier. The earlier chapter is more about where revenue comes in. But chapter 11 is about how to build your local store marketing plan so that you actually get increased sales year over year. And it walks you step by step. I'm looking at all the pages. I haven't seen this in page by page in a while. It actually walks you step by step on how to create your annual marketing plan, all of the concepts step by step. It gives you ideas even on tactics, but really it focuses more on is the process to create that, because obviously a local marketing plan for a burger place versus a car wash is different industry, different model. So what I give you in this book is the process to create that local store marketing plan. And then at the end, chapter 12 is Stay the Course. And basically what that chapter is all about is to say that this is a lot of information that you need to do. And it is not easy to do all of these things. But if you do not all of these things, but if you do a lot of these things, is how you're going to make the most money in your franchise. But it won't be easy. You need to be able to have a way and a process and a commitment and consistency on implementing the systems and implement them in a way that your people don't want to quit on you, right? And so that's what that last chapter is about, to give you that information. And so I haven't spoken very much, as you know, in our Multi-Unit Mastery Monday sessions, a lot about, this book. It's a book that clearly I'm proud of. What can I say? Is it perfect? Is it 100% complete? No. Can it be better? Absolutely. But I promise you that if you get this book, you're going to get at least 3 or 4 eye-opening information or reminders that will guide you step by step on how or what you need to do to be able to make your business more successful than it is right now. And so I want to tell you 2 things. First of all, where can you get this book? Anywhere Amazon, whether you are UK, Australia, Japan, anywhere where there's Amazon, you can find the book on Amazon. In the US, it's $17.95. You can also buy it from us. And I'll put here the link. If you go to thefranchisefix.com, you can buy it from the Academy. We sell it at $14.95. If you buy it from us, I will send you an autograph copy. All right. So if you'd like to have an autograph copy and you can wait a couple of weeks, then you can buy it from us at thefranchisefix.com. You can go directly there. Oh, only Canada and US. Sorry, we cannot ship outside of Canada and the US because the shipping cost is outrageous. But if you are outside of Canada or the US, then just go to Amazon.com and they'll deliver to you. You can only get the autograph copies from me if you are in the US or Canada. Sorry about that. But still, you can get it from Amazon. All right. And so that's what I want to say about that. So thefranchisefix.com, that's where you can get it. And you'll get it within 2 weeks or less, right? As quickly as we can get it out. We have it in stock. Now, if everything that I said here, if you're interested in this book and you think, wow, this is the information that I need, that is fantastic. I'm a reader. But if you're not a reader, before I came into this live session, I had a call with somebody from England, and he says, Aisha, I don't read. I don't like reading. I hate reading. Then I want to extend an invitation too. Every quarter, we have a masterclass. In that masterclass, we cover a lot of this information and a little more, because the masterclass is really focused for people that want to grow from one unit into multi-unit. So if you want to go and it's a free masterclass, by the way, if you want to go to multiunitmasterclass.com, this masterclass happens once a quarter. I believe the next one is happening next week. I think we have it once a quarter, so you can register the one next week. If you cannot do it next week, come back a couple of weeks after, and then register for the one for the next quarter. It's a completely complimentary masterclass where we cover a lot of this information on a live session. It's complimentary, and so I would love to see you there. And then you can ask me questions live if you want, and interact with us and learn about what are the things that you need to do to be successful in your business. And so again, if you want to buy if you like the physical book, I love physical books. I don't know if you see all my books up here everywhere. You can go to thefranchisefix.com. If you buy it from us, then you get an autograph copy, or you can go to Amazon and buy a copy from them, and you're welcome. Either way, my goal, the reason I wrote this book, and actually, I'm going to read you the dedication to Philip. I said, to Philip for asking the questions that inspired me to write this book. Thank you for trusting me and for trusting me to guide you in the right direction. And so I wrote this book not to make money. I don't make money on the book. I wrote the book so that I could share the knowledge and experience that I know many of you need and want in your business. I know there's a huge confusion out there. I know you're willing to do the work. I know you're doing it every day, but sometimes you just don't know what to do. And I believe that this book can give you a lot of the answers. And if you're not a reader, come to our masterclass. In the masterclass, you will get also a lot of the answers, and you can interact with me, ask questions, and we have a great time in those sessions. And either way, my goal is that you get the information that you need to be successful. My purpose is to protect the American dream of business ownership through franchising. That's what I do every day in and day out. And that's what I'm going to do until I'm able to do so, if I have the brain power and the physical health to do so. I hope that you got something out of it. If not, at least you open the eyes, to potential things that you may have not thought about. Maybe you get inspired and get the book so that you can get the knowledge. And if that is the case, then you know what? I'm giving you a little bit of something that I just my brain and information to give you so that you can be successful, because that is really what we're here to do every day. So having said that, thank you very much for hanging in with me. If you are, by the way, in any of our platforms, give me the thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoyed the session. And if you would like to see, we have lots of videos and trainings and best practices in our YouTube page. So if you are on our YouTube page, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up. And if you are in any of the other platforms, I am doing a live broadcast right now in several platforms. Come over to YouTube, subscribe, and watch all these videos and information and knowledge that we give you so that you can be successful. So this is what I wanted to do in the new year. give you this, potential tool that can really change your business. And I hope that I made that happen. Other than that, I wish you all a happy new year. I hope that this year is an amazing year for you. And if there's anything that we can do to help you in that success, please reach out. That is what we dedicated every year, all the time. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you in the next Multi-Unit Mastery Monday next week at the same time in the same place. Thank you. Bye-bye.